I love Ariana because she's not only talented and puts so much effort and love into her work, but because she's such a genuine, loving, caring person who actually gives a shit about her fans.
And even though she's had so much difficulties with her mental health, she's still tried to push through and make music that feels good not only for us but also for herself.
She's just got this incredible energy about her, and I don't think you can find that in many people.
And then I might stand there and get crazy. I've loved Ariana Grande ever since she was on Victorious. I used to watch it like every day after school. And yeah, just as soon as I heard her voice, I was like, wow. And yeah, I've followed her music career since. I've like bought every single album. And yeah, still listen to her music most days. I think the thing with Ariana Grande is like she's not afraid to tell her fans like about her life, and like she's very down to earth, and like just the way she interacts with them online, it just shows like how much of a good person she is and her like good intentions, and like how much she's shared of like her hard, like the hard things in her life as well. It just connects her fans on a new level, and I think that's the reason she has such a dedicated fan base. And also just like her talent is insane. So I wanted to see Ariana Grande in concert for literally so long, and when it finally was announced she was coming to the UK for the Dangerous Woman tour, I literally had like 2 laptops open, like my mum was helping me. It was all a bit stressful.
Breaking news out of Greater Manchester of the police there and emergency services attending what they described about 20 minutes ago as an incident that they were having to deal with. Well, now Greater Manchester.
While taping our show earlier tonight, we heard the horrific news coming out of Manchester in England that there had been an incident at Ariana Grande's concert. We still have no real information about what's happening. All we know is the tragic news that there are multiple fatalities and many injuries. It shocks me every time we hear this sort of news that attacks like this can happen, but especially when there will be so many children.
This has been the most horrific incident we have ever faced here in Greater Manchester. Corey, get on this way! Come on!
And then a gentleman said, "Run!"
I never thought that night would be such a life-changing event.
Shall we talk about Manchester?
The concert was incredible, and like it finished. I was with my friend at the time, and we just went outside into the foyer. Yeah, we had no idea, but then I heard loads of screaming, and I thought like it was Ariana Grande or something. Like I thought that's why everyone was screaming, so I was like, what is happening? And then I was like texting my mum because they were like meeting us outside the concert, my parents, trying to find them. And then my friend just turned to me and just went, I think there's been an attack. And I just, as soon as she said that, I just grabbed her hand and like ran as fast as I could down all these stairs. And yeah, I don't even know how I ran so fast, but it was all just a bit of a blur. Yeah, and then we just spent like this next 15 minutes running around trying to find my parents, like on the phone to them, because could not hear a thing. Like everyone was just screaming, and it was just mayhem. Still surreal just to think about the fact that I was actually there. So looking back on how the concert and the whole night has affected my life and how it still affects my life. I think it's mainly like crowded places. Like I never used to have an issue with it at all, but now it's constantly on my mind, and like things that just shouldn't be on anyone's like a normal person's mind. You just wouldn't think the thoughts that you do, like when you get on a train or something and you just think things about anyone even though there's nothing like suspicious happening, if that makes sense. And yeah, I still like have nights where you just get taken back instantly. Like that's why I usually don't sleep in the dark, because it just takes me back to that night and I just remember everything that happened. I was definitely in a state of denial for about like a year. I wouldn't watch the videos for like a year. I didn't talk about it with anyone. The next day at school was horrendous because people were just like making jokes. I literally walked into class and this one boy was just like, "Oh, you've still got your legs then," and I was just like, I think it's just such a strange and like surreal thing that you never think is going to happen. You can't place yourself in that position until it's actually happened to you.
Yeah.
And even then, like, I still find it hard to believe. Well, it's weird because like the whole thing went by in like such a blur, but I can still remember like every single moment.
Yeah.
Very, very clearly. Yeah, a lot of survivor's guilt came with it as well, which is something that's like so weird and hard to deal with, because like after the concert I had like very mixed emotions. Like part of me was just so grateful to be alive and like you just see life as like in a whole new way, but then another part of me was just so like felt so guilty for being alive. And yeah, that's still something like that affects me to this day, because like I would never just, I don't know, I could never take things for granted or do things that would put my life at risk just because it just makes me think of the people that didn't. I decided pretty soon after the concert happened that like the first tattoo I ever want to get is a bee, because it's just like a little symbol of just that night and like everyone from Manchester, and it's become like sort of a symbol for that night. And yeah, and also Ariana Grande has one, and I just think it's like a symbol of like togetherness and like, yeah.
Like a connection.
Yeah, it's like a connection for everyone who was there, because it is, even though it was like this horrible thing, it's still like a special thing in so many people's hearts. And yeah. And I feel like within the fandom as well, there'll always be this like special bond, because it's just something that you don't really go through with anyone else in your lifetime. And yeah, there'll always be like some sort of special like feeling within the fandom that no one else can really relate to. And again, I think that's part of the reason why the fans are so dedicated to Ariana's, because it went through something so weird and like so rare, and like she also went through that.